everyone. This is jrootradio.com.
Pizza Nosh, the pizza that everyone knows. For over 15 years, Pizza Nosh has been serving the Jewish community with the best kosher pizza in Brooklyn. Delicious and fresh pizza daily. A large variety of food, salad, soup, falafel, knishes, and more. Reasonably priced, kid-friendly, wheelchair accessible, takeout and delivery. Lunch and dinner specials under strict rabbinical supervision. Pizza Nosh, the taste that everyone loves. 718-253-3200.
Live from jrootradio Studios in New York. This is the kishroni. Have a great day. This is the kishroni, and I'm Yosef Leib-Bornstein. I'll be here till 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. Moshe is on the telephone today. Nissim just walked out of the studio. Let's start with the tefillah to the Rebbeinu Shem and say, Rebbeinu Shalom, give us hatzlacha this hour the way you have always done. Thank you so much, Rabbi Nissim, once again for giving us this opportunity to do this wonderful show. And thank you, Moshe, again for helping us today. Remember, Kinderlich, boys and girls, I believe in you and I trust you. You are important and you will succeed. Just want to succeed and you'll succeed. Anyway, if you want to call us, our telephone number is 718-683-5858. That's 718-683-5858. You can text us at 347-927-8398, 347-927-8398. Well, let's start with Yehuda, as we always do. Kids Radio we go, the junior reporter. We will not accept phone calls till Yehuda is done. To the story of the week we go, at the story station is our veteran junior storyteller, Yehuda Rubin. With the story of the week, Yehuda?
The title of this week's story is Chaim Kanievsky's army career. When Shmuel Grossbart, father of one of the Malashvichim in Ponevezh, passed away, children were surprised when Chaim came to be Menachem Avon, and were even more surprised by what he told them shortly after he came. Just sitting down, Chaim said, "I have to step for your father, who was my commander in the army and helped me a lot." Those there were surprised by what he said. "Chaim in the army? We never heard this before about our father," replied one of the children. Chaim told them the story. It was during the War of Independence, when we were running in the Lug's Yeshiva in Petach Tikva. The war started, and everyone was dressed into the army with no exceptions. Of course, we knew nothing in advance. The first we knew about us was when a large bus pulled up outside the yeshiva, and we were told that everyone had to go get in and go protect the country. Because none of us even knew how to hold a gun, he gave us sticks and stones and sent us to guard a large hill. Remember, everyone was very scared. One boy hid in the bathroom of the yeshiva and avoided joining the army. But I went with the other Bachram together with my roommate. He was sitting beside me the whole time, saying to him and crying. Your father was appointed to commander because he was the oldest in the group. Because he was commander, he was given the largest stick. When we reached the hill, I asked him what we should do. He told me you should go up the hill and sit and learn where they can't see you. Take a stick and 2 stones so if anyone from the nearby village comes and scare them away. We sat there for a long time, and after we left the place, we were told that some of the residents of the city actually shot live gunfire near the place where we stood. When he finished saying the story, Chaim said, out of gratitude for them, I've come to be Menachem Avon. At the story station, this is Yehuda from jrootradio Radio.
Yehuda, thank you so much, Yehuda. Do a great job as usual. Kishroni, our news time is just about 7:05. We're just about 50 minutes to go. If you are a boy or a girl and you're between the ages of 8 and 14 and you want to do a report, you can text us at 347-927-8398, 347-927-8398, and Moshe will be happy to take your telephone number and the message you are texting in, and we will be happy to call you back. Just write your name and write what you want to talk about, and we'll be so happy to put you on. Mr. Shem will call you back. Alblina did not reject you. What's our motto? Well, Kishroni motto is this: no talent is rejected and no child is refused. And today, we're going to talk to one of the shalichim of Chabad. His name is Rabbi Ivri, Rabbi Yochanan Ivri, very chashva person, with a Rav himself, and a very inspiring and beloved person, and a good personal friend of mine. And he was nice enough to come down to the studio. We're waiting for him any minute. He'll be here with his son. He has a very special son, literally a special son, who has Down syndrome, and so proudly talks about his son. And he's going to Mitcham join us also here on the bench. And when he comes, he'll tell us all about how the shlichim work, all about the shlichim going all over the world, what they do, and Met Hashem very soon. But let me just take your focus away and talk to you about a very important yahrzeit that we had yesterday. Gimel Iyar, the yahrzeit of Reb Shaila Karastira, very famous tzaddik, Reb Shaila Karastira. Many people have this picture in black and white, like a little bit wearing like a suit and like a big wide narrow, not narrow, what's the word? Shallow hat, very wide hat. Reb Shaila Karastira in black and white picture, and the minhag is they put it all over the place. This picture and save you from mice. Very interesting, and there are many stories about it. But there's one important midah that this tzaddik had, and I wanted to talk about it. He had an unbelievable midah, and that was the midah of giving away everything he had to other people. His achnasas orchim was, way beyond limit, and he was he gave everything, mamish everything he had to everybody, and he would give. He had food. He gave away his food, his clothing, and mamish everything, and he would many stories around this phenomenon of giving away all the food. Anyway, so this man, Reb Shaila Karastira, he was before he was nifter. He took a bag of sugar and he told the people that they should give a little bit of sugar to everybody around. And there were literally hundreds and thousands of people around him when he was nifter. And they gave sugar, and the bag didn't finish till everybody got a spoonful of sugar. Very interesting. But he mamsh, there was a brach in his food, that he was able to feed so many people with a little bit. And many stories around him that way. And he didn't live so long ago. And he has one brother who's buried in Staten Island, not so far from where I live. I can't remember his name. I think Yitzchak. I can't remember. Anyway, his name was Reb Shaib Reb Moshe. His yahrzeit is Gimel Iyar. Yesterday, many people went to Karastir in Hungary to daven at his kever. He would take a challah, Shalosh Shudis. He would say, everybody says Torah, Palpulim, and everything, and I give bilkus, and he would say that shtickle Torah, you can refute, you can fake up, in other words, you can say it's not a shtickle Torah, it's not good anymore. Yes, good kasha, and you collapse the whole Torah. But the whole vart that he said. But a bilka, piece of food, when you give it to someone, you can't argue with that. That was one of his sayings, and this is how he ran his whole life. He would take challah on Shabbos and cut it up and give piece by piece to people. They would stand in line, hundreds of people, and he would have a few challahs, and he would serve hundreds of people with it. And everybody got a big fat piece, and there was no one left hungry. There was like a brach in his food. That was one of the phenomenons of around the Reb Shaila Karastira. And in Williamsburg, there was the pizza store who gives free food. On Gimel Iyar in Borough Park, there was on Van Hamilton, there was a gas station. They have like a little kiosk or something. They have sandwiches and stuff. They gave sandwiches and coffee for free the whole day. And many people bring to yeshivas. I'm a therapist. I go visit yeshivas, and they always have in the Rebbeim room. They have cake, Reb Shaila's yahrzeit. It's like became like a minhag to give your own food to other people on a day like that. I just wanted to mention this. I wanted to mention it because I figured that that'll be a schus for us to mention his name, Reb Shaila Reb Moshe, and I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, as we are waiting, Rabbi Ivri Moshe, if you got him? As we were waiting, Rabbi Yochanan Ivri, we are very excited to introduce him to you. Hey, come here, Rabbi Ivri. Come sit down. Thank you. This is your mic. You sit over there, Tzaddik. You sit right over there, okay? What's your name? Moshe? Dov Bear?
Speak in the mic.
No, okay, sit over there so Tati can sit here, okay? Sit over there. His name is Dov Bear?
Dov Bear, yes.
Dov Bear Ivri, wow. Do you know who was named Ivri? Avraham Avinu was named Ivri.
Avraham Avinu, yes.
Right? Avraham Avinu. Ivri Yonoichi, he said. Did he say that? Ivri Yonoichi? Right. Is that Avraham Avinu said that?
It's right. Yaina Navi. Yaina,
No, but who
famous
said-
song. Ivri Aneichi Veselakim Ani Yari.
Yeah, but who said, who called himself Ivri? Only Yoina?
Well,
What, and what-
it does say about Avram. Well, it says by Yosef Atzadik. It says
Yeah?
Nar Ivri.
All right.
What is that?
This is a radio station.
The radio station Dov Bear. And everybody can hear you. You want everybody to hear you?
Come from?
Where does it come from? It's a very special radio station.
You
It has
want-
very special listeners. And they could hear you.
What is it?
I'll tell you what it is. You're talking to the mic and everybody can hear you. You want to sing? You know, Dov Bear, you know how to sing?
You want to sing a song? What's
No.
your favorite song? Ivri Aneichi?
Everyone has your name in it, so you like that song, right?
So Dov
Anyway.
Bear, Baruch Hashem,
Yeah.
he's a good boy.
I'm going to introduce him to everybody in a minute. Let me first introduce Chashve's father. Rabbi Ivri is a shaliach of the Lubavitcher Rebbe in Staten Island. What's the name of that place?
The shul is called Taurus Emes.
Right, but what's the area called? It's not Willow.
Oakwood.
Oakwood.
Staten Island.
Okay, and I went around the web to look for information about the shlich. I mean, I found pages and pages and pages, but I couldn't bring everything. I couldn't copy everything, but I did some research. And USA, just for the USA, they have every country, every state in the USA has a shliach, at least one, right?
Correct.
So when you click on each of these, you see I have a list of all the shlichim: New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio.
North Dakota, by the way, was the last state that did not have a shliach, and I think last year they just this past year I think they just put a shliach there.
Wow,
So
amazing! How did they? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. First of all, how did you get into this job?
So I grew up in Crown Heights. My parents, my father is a Baal Tshuva, actually, although his father had smicha from the Tachtamoni Yeshiva in Poland.
Right.
Unfortunately, after losing his whole family, or at least the knowledge of losing his family, he was able to escape to Eretz Yisrael in the 30s. My grandmother also came during that period of time. She was from Lita, from Lithuania. And my father grew up in what we call a typical socialist Zionist home, which basically didn't mean too much Yiddishkeit,
Right.
unfortunately. And Baruch Hashem,
Like a kibbutz type of home,
very
secular.
very secular. And my grandfather actually was an editor. That's where the name Ivri came from, because his real name was Mishkinsky. So it was Chaim Yaakov Mishkinsky, his father, who was a rav of a small town in Belarus called Slitchitz. He was taken together with his whole kehillah during 1943, November of 1943. There's an account in the Sefer Ela Eskera, which has all the Rabbanim and the killers that were taken. And he was the last rav of this small town called Slitchitz near Grodno. And unfortunately, he was taken, and he actually, there was an account there how he told everyone, this is a very special mitzvah we're going to be performing, the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. He made everyone say Shema together, and they said Shema, and a witness was able to escape, testify what happened. But so my grandfather was able to escape before going to Eretz Yisrael, and he became Ivri, from Mishkinsky to Ivri. He went into journalism, and my father didn't really have much Yiddishkeit in his youth, and it was only later when he started traveling in Europe, where he studied, where he met Chabad there, and that's where he started his journey on Yiddishkeit. And later he met my mother in France, and they moved to New York. And Baruch Hashem, they raised us, as from a Yidden or yeshiva and so on, and we were able to be educated with the mission, if you will. If that's a good word.
It really is.
Of trying to make the world better. I'm sure you're familiar with Tzivos Hashem.
Right.
Tzivos Hashem was inaugurated, I believe, in 1980, Tafshin Mem, and it's a children's club where everyone has a mission. And the mission is to do more Torah mitzvahs, and we felt sort of this constant responsibility of bringing more and more zchusim for the world by doing more Torah mitzvahs, influencing others. Not enough that we do Torah mitzvahs, but we also have to try to get others to make a bracha, to do extra mitzvah, and this is something that we always felt. I remember growing up.
When you say we, you mean your family?
My family. Our home was Baruch Hashem, United Nations. My father speaks many languages.
Mm-hmm.
He still works in the court system, where he speaks fluent Russian,
wow,
Portuguese, Yiddish, Hebrew. I mean, that's a given.
That's a given.
But the Kainar, we had many guests from all over the world, and we sort of firsthand the Avraham Avinu. You mentioned Avraham Ivri and Sarah Imenu, how they had the Achmas Sarchim. I saw, Baruch Hashem, one thing, my parents always had an open door policy. We always had, the joke went when once my father came home late from shul, and it was, the Yom Tovim, we had a lot of guests sleeping in the dining room. So he was trying to tipway his toe, towards the living room, and the guest looks up and says, "Don't even try. There's no more room to sleep in there." Not knowing that he was the balabas. But Baruch Hashem, we have very fond memories of always having full guests. And
that's an amazing memory, it really is.
So, Kenai Nahara, we felt always this feeling of trying to help others bring opening. One example is of a young man who came from France, and I remember he came Rosh Hashanah, and it was just going into 770 and seeing the crowds there was such a thing that he never experienced. And today he's a completely Shomer Shabbos. I mean, full not only Shomer Shabbos, he's learning, Daf Yomi, and he, completely immersed in Yiddishkeit, his kids and so on, back in France. And perhaps we played a little role in that. My family, my parents, siblings, and I remember one of the things, he was very into the marathon, so he ran for the New York City Marathon, and he had to run also to catch his plane back to France. It's one of the things I remember. But Baruch Hashem, later, when I visited France, he invited me to his home. It was just amazing to see the tremendous Yiddishkeit and him helping others now as well. So this was something we always felt, growing up in Crown Heights. Every Friday, as maybe many of your listeners know, that Friday, half a day, we also spend the time going out as yeshiva bachrim and putting on tefillin on storekeepers or business people. We used to go when I was in ninth grade. I went with my friend Mendy, of course, is a typical name of Chabad, and Mendy Heber, who was actually now a shliach in Syosset, New York, or Glen Cove, somewhere in Long Island. And we used to go, and I remember we used to come sometimes back Erev Shabbos, right? Mamish, you hear the alarm ringing. With 40 pairs of tefillin, we were able to chap. Because in we used to go to the Diamond District. The Diamond District was full of Yidden, Israelis, Persians, Russians, Americans. I mean, it was just we used to mamish run from one place to the next, and it was sort of like brownie points. We felt another Yid, gechapt, It was like a mission, We felt that it was a nice thing. Purim, we used to go with Megillah. We used to read the Megillah. My mother always complained, what about the house? What about helping in the house before Pesach? We used to go give out matzahs. I mean, it's sort of we had that criticism in a way that we weren't enough home, perhaps, but we always felt that there's always that need to help others and to Rosh Hashanah and so on to help others. What? Har Sinai. Har Sinai is coming up, right? Shavuos. So we have in our shul, we do what? We do an ice cream party, for example. It's one of the things we do in our shul to get.
I like cream.
This year it's easy because it falls out on a Sunday. During the week it's difficult to.
What do you mean? Shavuos, you do ice cream?
Shavuos, we do an ice cream party to get kids to come to hear the Aseret Dibros. So this is Sunday Shavuos.
No?
5 weeks, right? We was just finished, or we're actually in the third week now, but we're getting closer. And Lag B'Omer we're doing. Last year we did in a field, in an actual Miller field. We did a barbecue, and we had rides. Well, happened to be also my other son Shmuel. Shmuel just is turning 4. He was 3 last year, and we did an upsharon. So it was very nice. We had. A nice crowd, and trying to bring Yiddishkeit to the masses. We're in an area in Staten Island which is not typical as the frum, so to speak. It's not a frum community. It's sort of outside of the the area of Willowbrook, which is the large Jewish community in Staten Island. But we feel that there's a purpose, and Baruch Hashem, Dov Bear and all the other siblings, they help a lot, right? They whenever we have a kiddush in the shul Shabbos, we start singing, right? And you start dancing and bringing it. This week actually we had what? A niggin. We sing a niggin, and we bring some freilicheit. We have people also from the hospital that just had babies, and they walk to the shul, and Dober's always there dancing and bringing simcha. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's in a nutshell. So 1 second. So why didn't you find some kind of exotic place all the way out in the islands? Why Staten Island, right here behind our nose? I mean, come on.
It's a good question.
Do you want to go someplace?
I when as a bacher, we also go on what we call shlichus. Shlichus is the word we use. I went to Australia. For Melbourne, Australia.
So that's also a Jewish neighborhood, no?
And that's also a Jewish neighborhood. It's pretty far. And at the time when they first started yeshiva, 51 years ago, actually, it's Tafshin Chav Zayin, 1967. Many of the parents, were somewhat reluctant sending their kids there because they felt that it's too far. 1967, it took, I think, 30 hours or more to fly to Australia. They had to take multiple stops, and it was very, very far. And it wasn't like today that you're able to communicate as well. Even when I was there, 92, 93, there was a fax machine we had, but telephone was very expensive. He has to go already. We have to go. Evil Shen Leifen, he wants to run already. But the Kitzer, once the Lubavitcher Rebbe used to say that was mer weiter is ich bin mer nenter. That the further you go, I'm with you. I'm closer with you. In other words, you shouldn't feel left out. And we saw. I mean, I in my 2 years over there, the amazing. I remember going Miftzayim. Again Friday we called Miftzayim. Miftzah means like Miftzah. It's a like sort of an effort or outreach effort, and we went to put on film, and we got this Yid who went to yeshiva years ago. This is downtown Melbourne, And it was just amazing, to sort of rekindle that spark. That you remember he was in yeshiva so many years ago in New York, actually. Another time we went to help with the Minyan Yom Kippur,
Yes.
and also downtown Melbourne, which used to be with the first area where the Yidden first came when they came to Australia. And mamish, we made the Minyan. So you imagine davening called Nidre. You hear these mices of, unbelievable how you bring Yiddishkeit to the Pina Nidachas, the far flung corners of the world. But this is this is something that we always felt pressure. Now you're asking, well, how do we end up in Staten Island? It's a good question.
Carrot.
I always felt that
Papa. Carrot.
Carrots?
Carrot.
You want to hear this? You want to put this on? So I always felt that everyone's a shliach. No matter who, where we are, how we are, we all have a mission. We all have a responsibility to bring Yiddishkeit to wherever we are. And this radio station does tremendous, what we call shlichut, and doing goodness. And every child, every individual, every person has a mission.
Go.
We're gonna go soon, okay?
Dove, I need your father for another few minutes, okay? Can you give me your father for another few minutes?
One thing he loves are videos.
Yeah.
He loves. You want to watch a video? He loves the twins from France. Are you familiar with the twins from France? He's crazy about them. So we're just coming from shopping at the Kollel store. We picked up one. We picked up a video for him to watch. It's called Offline. So, that's the latest, I think, one. He's very into that. But a lot of simcha. Dov Ber is now 11 years old, and Kenai Nahara, the amount of simcha sachayim he brings into our family, into the community. Every person he comes into the shul Shabbos, he gives a shalom aleichem to.
Baba.
He doesn't leave anyone out.
When is it have a boy?
Maybe you can help him.
You want to go over there?
Want to help
What
him?
is this one?
Anyhow, so Baruch Hashem, we have Kenai Nahara 8 kids with with our family.
Abba, I
Dober.
can't hear.
He's gonna make you with our earphones. He's gonna give you earphones.
Mhm.
See if he sees the